Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box with the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Tuesday, the 20th of October, and these are the charts of the day. Well, it's kind of a sloppy day today. I won't call it a bad one. I thought that the technicals were great on NYSE, not so great on NASDAQ. A lot of pressure on the NASDAQ generals, but the market held itself together, I thought. And we'll see how she goes. And look, the biotech is, no question, is very weak, and there may be one more leg down. And proof of that is, or potentially proof of that, if you take a look at the ultra shorts, the BIS and the LABD, you'll see what I mean. Here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move: wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and wave 4. I'm thinking of wave 5 getting us up to either the 43, 44 range, or even as high as 50. Could be the last spike up that we get before we get a much better buying opportunity on the biotechs. Although, if the BIS cracks below 33, 45, 33 and a half range, it's done, at least from my viewpoint. I need that to hold in that zone. The resistance on the BIS is up around the 39 range, 39.40, and we get through that, then we're looking for 43.44 and all the way up to 49.50. We'll see how it goes. Let's quickly jump over to the LABD to get a idea that how close they are, of course, and they should be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and then a 1, 2, 3 wave correct to wave 4, perhaps. Wave 5 could take you up to 66. That's a 20-point move from here. There is a resistance level around 57 first. So if we're going to get plunging action in the biotechs, and the market's going to get another decent pullback, the biotech targets would be, first, if we get through here, a run up into the mid-50s, and then maybe even mid-60s. Beyond that, who knows where, but at least keep your eyes on this one. And yesterday's low at 39 would be a stopping point. Now, swing trade BSQR doing very well and following through today with another gain of about 51 cents or 5.67%. Volume was decent. I think the stock has hit it up towards 12, maybe 14. Those are my targets. Support right now about 8.5. CALA, well, it's a swing trade that's kind of like one dull, but considering the biotech, some of them have pulled back rather dramatically. This has not. So for holding support, support is 7. Beneath the 685.7 zone, it could get uglier. But what I want to see, if it gets over a 795.8, it's on its way to near 10 or better. The stock I'm very intrigued by is CALL. I like the long-term downtrend. It took it from the mid-20s down to the 6-7 zone. Multiple bottoms down here around 6.5, 660. Broke out with a breakaway gap, pulled back sharply from the rising channel or wedge. Today it popped 38 cents at 3.73%. Now, it looks like the angle could be something like that. If that is the case, the targets are 11.5 and 12.75. COP, well, another of the oil companies I'll be looking at today, with a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave move. This wave could extend a little bit, but eventually I'm looking for 60, 62 on COP. The question is, can it hold support right where it is now, about 53? We'll see. EGHT, well, we put out a swing on this today because of the action on it, really, and particularly the late action. I really like the way it acted today. 1.1 million traded, and much of it towards the end of the session when it was breaking out. You can see the long base, the breakout here. I'm looking for about 11.5 to 12.5 coming up in this zone. ERII, well, a monstrous move and a monstrous day for it, trading up 200% on 22 million shares. Never saw that before ever. That's the biggest volume ever traded. This was mentioned last night as a possible popper today, and it did pop indeed. They did a deal that's worth $125 million. That's incredible for that company, plus $75 million up front. I heard from somebody today who thought this could be a $50 to $100 stock, and I said, well, okay, we'll see. Meanwhile, it's thin, has 32.5 days to cover. Lots of interesting action on it. It did back off the high, but not by too bad. Still managed to close up 197.5% today, up 486. So, with a huge gain like that and a big short position, we may very well see 9 or 10 in the next day or two. FCX, well, let's look at this one too. Popped up, pulled back, put a swing trade on it. It pulled back in a nice looking falling wedge as well. We're seeing oils and metals doing this. This is a nice little falling wedge. Hopefully we get a hold near allowed 1140.50 zone where support is. I would actually not like to see it go below 11 3/4. So let's keep an eye on this one. The next target is 15 and then 17.5. FTK, nice action. What I'm looking at here is a beautiful falling wedge or consolidation wedge. There is resistance obviously at 21.5. The target's at 23.75, 25.5, and then 27.5. Pretty keen, clear support at around 18.5, 3/4. Now Helix, HLX, I put a swing on today because of this. When I see a stock that's come down hard, kind of forms an inverse head and shoulder, and then gets big volume on the pop, pulls back to the breakout point, I'm usually interested. 654 up $1.37. Yes, it traded up to 775 today, but it was still a whopping gain on nearly 10 million shares. So I think it's the breakout that this stock has been needing for a while now. You can see the downtrend took it from the 28.9 zone all the way down to the 4 zone, and today it may have reversed. MXL, recent swing trade, has an inside day today. Just wanted to show it to you on very low volume. I consider that a bullish action. I think the stock goes higher. I'm still looking for 15, 15.5, maybe as high as 17 at the secondary target. Here's your overall pattern. Very nice one. Technicals look good, so does volume. OAS, another oil stock that I like. Popped for 4 days here, got to resistance and backed off. You can see the low volume pullback. Today's lowest volume it's had in a bit, quite a bit, several weeks. That could be a good sign as it pulls back to the breakout point. The next target is 15, 16 zone. The PACB continues to consolidate, narrow, and coil on lower volume. I consider that bullish after a big run like that. We'd like to see the breakout to the upside, not the downside, of course. The support for me is going to be around 695.7. Below that is a stop. I think the stock is good, looking for 8.5, 3/4, and then 10. Primal Water, I'm just going to continue to show you this stock is phenomenal. 500,000 traded today. That's not, now it's starting to ramp up with volume. The volume is increasing, and so is the OBV. It looks to me like a stock that may be headed for the 12 and then 15 range eventually. Well, SSNI, after the pop, if you remember the day I gave it to you, I said it may not be, it may be a little premature. Sometimes when I anticipate, we get a pullback. That's only a good opportunity. Take a look at the rising bottoms line and the rising tops line. The targets are 16.5, 3/4, followed by 18.25.5. TTS had a great earnings report today. The stock popped, went up $1.89 at 14%. There's multiple tops here. I wanted you to see this. This gets to 15.25. We should see 18, 18.5. Twitter, swing trade, kind of an inside day as well. Low volume. What I'm looking for is for the stock to hold and go through 31.60. The targets are 33 and 36. Vera Bradley, stock we talked about and recommended earlier, has been consolidating now for a month. Very quiet, very narrow. Look, when I see a big declining channel like that, the breakout above the 50, and then the moving averages converge, cross over, it looks to me like a good something we should be watching. About 13.40, I think the stock takes off. My targets are 16.5 and 18. And lastly, today's WTW, what a secondary move this had. A beautiful follow through down 68 million of another 433 or 31% on top of yesterday's whopping gain. It is up against a resistance zone here. If it does extend, we could see that stock trade as high as 29.30. I'm not looking for that. I think the stock may be in a period where it needs to pull back and consolidate. But if it does follow through, we could see the stock get into the 22, 24 zone. Wouldn't that be something? For now, this is HB signing off, and I'll see you tomorrow.